Hello, good evening everyone. I am Bonafime Risitas and now I will be discuss the basic model of community organization. So first, let me share with you the definition of community organization. So it is a process in which the community identifies its needs or objectives and then orders or prioritize what's the most important of these needs and objectives and develop that confidence and the will to work at these needs and then find resources in the process. It is hoped that through community organization, people would bring about the desired improvement and that would lead to empowerment. So, we have three models of community organization. First is locality development, social planning, and social action. So first is locality development. It is a method of making with community groups. So the focus in here is to bring about the process of community building. That's why this would take time because you want to involve in as much as possible everyone or majority of the people. If it's not possible to include all in the process, you want to have the community plan and find solution to their problem. It will take time because we want we want that it is the people who will realize that they have the people, and we want to encourage them to pull the resources through enough to the definition of community organization so that they can find solution to their problem. So in here we can see that the most important factor is to develop leadership, at the same time to use education as a tool so that people will understand the essence of their participation in community. The goal of this development of leadership, most of the time this could happen when you help identify indigenous leaders and develop your core group or core leaders, because the leadership would come from the people. It aims at meeting their needs, especially the target population, those in which their prioritization of needs would need more assistance or programs. And it can also include neighborhood development, road development, or it could be problems like in relation to environment or sanitation, at the same time food security. So it depends no sa community because each community is unique. So when we say leadership means inculcating teamwork among them, because as mentioned, we want that CO or community organization becomes a method in which the unity can be promoted. Motivation, that the fact that they have problem is actually a very good motivation for them to work together, competence, skills, that sense of responsibility. Because as mentioned, one of our goals or our focus is to promote social functioning, in the sense that people will not only care about providing their own needs, but we want them to care as well about the needs of the community. In relation naman for education, we see that for community development, education is not just about preparing them for life or giving them the access to be educated formally, but we also include adult education or community education. When we say adult education is referred to the popular concept of education. So everyone can relate because they feel they are really part of the process. They can do something. So the process of educating is life itself. The people will feel that they should be aware about what's happening around them, and they 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 can do something to provide solutions for their community. And at the same time, through education, they will also be able to contribute um, more solutions, no? So the basic belief in here is the communities is have some common needs and interest. That's why they are part of the community. So once the people realize that they have the need and that they can actually work together democratically, meaning the kind of leadership that we promote in here is to give everyone the opportunity to share their thoughts and to grow. That's that is not just one person who will lead them, but the power really comes from the people, so they can take appropriate steps to improve the quality of life, and this will take time. That's why among the basic model of CO, it is the community development or locality development that would require a lot of time for the goal to be achieved. And the second model is social planning. So social planning process emphasizes a technical process of problem solving. It is recognized that change in complex industrial environment requires technically competent and expert planners that can skillfully guide complex change process. So when we say social planning, it is a method of working with a large population, and it refers to the type of community work where a worker or agency undertakes an exercise of evaluating their welfare needs and the existing services in the area. Specifically in planning, the goal is to have more efficient delivery of services to the social problems. So when do we usually apply social planning? We apply this when there is a need to think of the solution as fast as the community can. When the resources is not enough, so that it can't be subjected to the long process, but the solution is already required. So the key in here is you ask experts or people to be with you to help you come up with a good plan, considering factors like what it is that people actually needs. So instead of asking people to do the inter process, the social worker will come in and help them come up with a plan. Is responsive model to the needs and attitudes of community, like in housing, health insurance, affordable education, in which we require the expertise of people who knows how to plan well in relation to these needs, and at the same time services, because this would require through understanding of the situation and to have a very good theoretical framework for you to come up with this program. So although we believe in the power of people to decide themselves, we know that for most of the services, the planning would also require help, but from experts, so that the resources will be utilized in the most effective and efficient manner. So the community planner works in greater capacity with the government. So this being the kind of model being used by the government, like for instance the DSWD, because they provide technical support at the same time. Also, they have a full of people who are experts in their fields, and at the same time in different programs and services. So they hire people who knows how to plan well and who have a knowledge in these different services and programs. So it is important to do the social planning with the primary goal of helping people address their needs, at the same time to develop them in the attitude of caring and the importance of their participation and collaboration, because after all, no matter how beautiful the plan, the social worker or community planner would come up, if the people will not participate, if they will not do their share, the implementation will most likely still not go as expected. So there's still a need to inculcate positive values among communities, especially in terms of their participation or self-determination. So the third model is social action. The social action approach presupposes a disadvantaged segment of the population that needs to be organized, perhaps in alliance with others, in order to make adequate demands on the larger community for increased resources or treatment more in accordance with social justice or democracy. So we use this kind of strategy when there are groups that feel that they have inadequate power and resources to meet their needs. So they confront such with power structure, and they use conflict as a method to solve their issues related to inequalities and deprivation. The example are structural systems, change in social policies that brings disparities between people of different socio-economic condition in social rights, like educational policies, employment policies. So in here, our structural system changed because it is already the entire system that needs to be changed, because you realize that no matter how you empower the people on the individual or group basis, if if the systems would still have the effect of altering or stopping people from becoming or from reaching their fullest potential, then the most of the times the goal will not be achieved in terms of its sustainability and impact, because the system already has a problem on its own. That's why, if you want to create greater impact, there's a need somehow to work on in terms of changing the system, so that will bring the disparity between people of different socio-economic conditions in terms of their social rights, educational policies, employment policies, and among the other issues in which there's inequality or those who are marginalized, so that would bring at least some disparity into solution. So there's a need for us to be involved in this structural system change. So that would be all. Thank you.